What's going on, guys? I kind of wanted to make a video about this yesterday, but I was really busy, and just wanted to make a video today about it because I know a lot of people were outraged about it, and I personally uh, came away with a completely different mindset from like first looking at the comments and then going and watching the interview myself. And this is one prime example. I just want to explain to people that make sure you don't just watch TV and react to the headline before you form an opinion. You go check out the source itself from an unbiased website, watch the interview, watch whatever. And I was gonna post my comments about what Dr. Ben Carson said. And initially, when I first saw the comments, like I think the first headline I read was Ben Carson says Muslims should not be president. And I completely, was about to jump off the bandwagon there because I was like, okay, something's not right because this guy is he's a neurosurgeon. Every time the man talks, he seems like a really intelligent guy. Not that, people that are that smart can't have, some real lapses in their mental thinking, but I completely was like, that's not like him. And plus that doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't want to use this as a kind of a stereotyping way, but I couldn't imagine that because he is an African American male, that a minority would openly suppress another minority like Islamic faith in this country. That would not make sense to me at all. I don't know why he would do that. When I looked at the first glance, it's going to seem really bad that I say this, but I thought maybe, he made his comments initially like that because he was wanting to appeal to evangelicals and the Christian faith, which, make up a real big chunk of Republican voters. That's, sorry guys, it's fact. So initially I thought that's what he was probably going for. I knew already before I even read the interview or watched it that he definitely, I don't think he really meant that. I think if he actually had said any comment related to that, he would be coming from the Trump perspective when he brought up immigration and would just say, hey, I think, Christians should be president. And, and Republican voters are like, oh, yeah, there we go. We can just vote for him because, most of these candidates right now, they're not worried about, the general population, which they still should be. They're just worried about Republican voters because they want to get the nomination. But anyway, let's get into what Ben Carson really said. He probably he did. I will give people the benefit of the doubt. He didn't really what's the word? He didn't put it lightly. He didn't phrase it probably the best way. But he specifically, basically, I'm just going to summarize it up. But I'm not going to read every direct quote because I watched two separate interviews: the interview of itself and then the interview where he clarifies, where they ask him to clarify his comments and if he stands by it. He basically said in his first interview that he didn't want a president to run the country based on their religious beliefs versus the Constitution. And he goes on to further clarify that in his next video, which is he then even brings up Christians and says that that if a Christian was running for president and wanted to run the country based solely by the religion, I think he used the word theology. I think that's the word he used. I guess that's what that means. I'm almost assuming. I don't know the exact definition of the word, but I think that means you rule by your religion, basically. Like you got to align your principles with that. He was basically saying he thinks that America should be run based off of American principles first. And if you didn't watch the video of the first interview, the reporter asked him specifically what he thought about a Muslim leader of the country. It's not like he came out and just randomly said, I don't think a Muslim should run this country based on their religion. And like I said, yeah, I mean, I have a real close, real freaking close Muslim friend. And I definitely dug deep into these comments because she's one of the smartest people I know. And he really should have used the term radical Islamic people, because that's a much more accurate description, because I know, it's got, like the way he was meaning it, I guess, is like when you rule like govern America. You want to govern America by American principles. You don't want to get someone in there who wants to rule it by their religion and get the extreme parts of their religion. Like, obviously he would mean even, if you want to use the Christian like version of the Old Testament with, stonings and all that stuff. Well, I think, and don't, guys, don't quote me on this accurately, but I think from what little I do know about, the Quran, and I think it's called Sharia. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, don't kill me. Sorry, Sharia law. It's got some stuff in there that really would conflict with the Constitution. Like, I think for countries out there that do use that form of law as a legal system, I don't think they have like a jury by their peers, for example. I think they just have one judge. I think in these countries, I think they treat men much better than they do women. I don't think they treat women as good as they should. Now, that's not a shot at. That's not. See that now. I want to clarify my comment on that too by saying that's not a shot at the Islamic religion at all. That's just a shot at how some people choose to handle their religion. I have a lot of problem with how certain Christians handle their religion and how they enforce it and use it. And then you get people like that from all across all different kinds of faith. You got the radicals, the extremes, and then you get the middle, and then you get of course the other side. But you get the good people. There's like good people from all religions, and I think if we had a Muslim president, that that's not a big deal to me. I think that's completely fine. Do I want a radical Islamic president? No, but I don't think anyone wants a radical of any religion and a president, or a radical of no religion in there. But yeah, like I said, I think like I said, Ben Carson's a really intelligent man. I'm not saying this just to defend him because I'm going to vote for him either, because I'm not going to share who I would vote for anyway. But like I said, I knew when I first read the headlines that it's just some of these biased websites want to go ahead and throw as much crap as they can on the Republican nominee. Which I mean, I understand that. I get that. That's a form of politics. It's natural. It's normal. But yeah, like I just want to recap, like he wasn't saying, like that whole, if you walked away thinking that Ben Carson, if you still think today that Ben Carson does not approve of a Muslim being president, then you just didn't understand what he said. I mean, I'm sorry, that's as simple as it can get. I think the reason he didn't back off his comments at all is because he is a Republican candidate. I don't think he really, I think he brought that up in the way he said it. I think that probably appeals to, sadly, some Christian voters. Even on the surface of I don't want a Muslim as president, I think even that headline alone is not the most damaging to him. It is to the general population, but if you're talking about just the Republican nominee, it has absolutely probably little to no effect on him at all. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion, because I think that's the majority of the voters he's needing. I think he's needing a lot more evangelical voters than per se the other ends of like the voters, such as like basically you know where I'm going. But anyways, yeah, guys, it's really not what it seemed. I encourage you guys to go watch the video before you react to what I said, thinking that I may have interpreted it wrong. But no, go watch the video. Like I said, anything else before you see before you ever read a headline in the news about some celebrity, some politician, always make sure you go watch the video themselves, because most likely you're going to be watching or reading from a biased news site. You're going to find some that are way worse than others. There's very few, good and neutral news sites. That's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But like I said, guys, just go watch the video for yourself. Certainly Ben Carson doesn't hate Muslims. He doesn't, think they're not worthy of being president. That's not what he said at all. And, thanks, guys. I hope you liked what I said. If you like what I said, comment. If you didn't like what I said, comment. Thanks, guys.